and stuff. So I'm very happy to finally get these figures from my childhood out on display. Okay, moving over here. This is the Lord of the Rings shelf. Obviously. I actually, for a while, I had these figures where the Batman the Animated Series figures were. But when I decided that I did want to put these figures out on display, the Wayne Manor playset was just too tall for this shelf. So I had to swap them around. But pretty much I've kept the same order. I just transplanted it over one shelf. Again, by Toy Biz. That's what all these figures were from the original Lord of the Rings toy lines in the early 2000s. Some really great figures there. These are all the figures I had. And then the 12-inch figures, also by Toy Biz. And then the Defeat of Sauron battle pack. Sorry, it's a little bit dark on the camera. Lighting back there is not the best. Moving up a shelf, here we have the Amazon exclusive Vintage Collection TIE Interceptor. Which, you know, I'm just displaying with its packaging because the Vintage Collection packaging is really nice, and I just love displaying the Vintage Collection vehicles next to their packaging. I think it just makes for a really good display. Moving up another shelf, here we have the Red 5 X-Wing from the Trench Run Battle Pack, which was a Toys R Us exclusive. Very great vehicle. And I've got the Pilot Luke that came with the pack in there. And then the VOTC carded Pilot Luke that I have. Just thought it'd make for a neat display. And then there's the Target exclusive Vintage Collection TIE Fighter from several years back, which I believe has gotten pretty rare nowadays. It was not produced in mass quantities, I don't believe. Moving up a shelf, this is my vintage, well, not my vintage, what am I saying? My original trilogy / original trilogy era expanded universe figures. So these are pretty much all my favorite Star Wars figures. I'll just kind of pan over them. Again, not going into great detail. But I will point out a few notables. Like, that's my, if you remember, my custom Jedi Master Kyle Katarn that I made, which was a simple head swap. I believe I did a video of that, so you can look that up on the channel. And then just panning over here. Bounty hunters, and I tried to break it up into pretty much like 3 segments: the good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak. Pretty much, here's the rebels, and then the scum and villainy, and then the Empire. So there's all the Executor bounty hunters. And then the Empire over here, which that Izard and Baronfell were actually kind of new to my collection. I got both of those for Christmas, so I'm very glad to have those because those are both major expanded universe Imperials, as well as the Black Series Mara Jade. In there. And then a bunch of different troopers. I tried to get because it'd be easy to just fill up this entire okay, yeah, clumsy me, but it'd be easy to just fill up this entire Imperial section with just stormtroopers. So I tried to get like a representative from each different type of stormtrooper that I have. Like, you can see I've got a regular stormtrooper, and then an incinerator trooper, I believe that's what that's called, a dark trooper, scout trooper, so on. So I tried to get as much variety of trooper in there as I could. And obviously I'm knocking stuff down while I'm trying to present it to you, so that's not good, but I'll deal with that once this video is finished recording. Then up here is just kind of a random shelf, really. Just stuff that I didn't really have space for in other shelves, like the Dewback and Sand Trooper. Then there's Django's Slave one, and Jodo Cast Uncard. And then up here is, again, more kind of random stuff with die-cast Millennium Falcon, die-cast AT-AT, and then this cool Darth Maul coin bank from the original toy run And then moving over here, again on the bottom, again kind of random, I have a couple ties here. TIE Bomber from Power of the Force 2, die-cast Snowspeeder, and then Darth Vader's tie from the Trench Run set. So I did kind of think, I tried to group all the ties as close together as possible, as you can see. Regular TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, Bomber, and then Advanced. Then here's the Amazon exclusive Boba Fett Slave 1, which I really love. Again, you know, the Boba Fett Slave 1 was something that I always wanted as a kid, and then to finally get it was, you know, just pure wish fulfillment. And I have both the Amazon exclusives displayed next to their respective boxes. Again, I think that's a really good way to display your vintage collection vehicles, but to each his own. This shelf was something, because you know, to be fair, I don't hate the prequels or everything non-original trilogy. I think that there's some really great, Knights of the Old Republic era stuff, as well as some really good, like, Clone Wars things, pre-2008. So I wanted to display these figures that didn't really fit in over here with the original trilogy era, but also to give them, you know, some spotlight as well. So there's the Toys R Us exclusive Delta Squad. There's Darth Vader in his breathing chamber, I guess. Quinlan Voss, Night Sister. I'm forgetting her name right there, but the bounty hunter from the Old Republic. Malgus. Dirge. Old Republic Trooper, and then Mandalore, or yeah, as in not obviously not the planet, but you know the person from the Knights of the Old Republic games, Mandalore the Great, or one of those prefixes that they have. And then there's the Toys R Us exclusive Biker Scout back there, as well as some carded figures from the vintage collection that I had. As well as like vintage original trilogy collection. Like there's both of my Bobas on card. Vader, Ben Kenobi, which gotta thank Lego Master Cole 583 for that one. And there's the Gamorrean Guard, and then a vintage original trilogy collection Stormtrooper. Moving up here, this is another shelf that I'm really proud of how it turned out. This was originally started out as an Aliens diorama, but kind of expanded to be just pretty much AVP. I just kept on expanding and adding figures and stuff, and sorry if the light's not so great in here, but it doesn't really do much. Let's see. No, that's lights obviously need new batteries, but as you can see, they're very happy with how this came out. I used actually I got this at Home Depot. These were actually vent grate covers, but they act really great as like the floor to like some, you know, industrial complex, or some, you know, any kind of like, you know, spaceship that's not very kind of like clean, because there's like pretty much two different types of spaceships in science fiction. There's like the perfect, like super, like all white clean, like the Tantive 4, but then there's also like the dirty, kind of gritty industrial looking spaceships like Aliens and stuff. So this would be really good for like industrial kind of sci-fi environments, and I think it looks really good there. And then that's just spray painted black cardboard back there. So this was my yearly diorama that I do. I did this past year, I should say. So happy with that, how that came out. Pretty much everybody is aiming at somebody else. So it really is like a Mexican standoff. A very large Mexican standoff at that. But moving up here, this is actually kind of turned out to be a Return of the Jedi shelf, which is odd because Return of the Jedi, actually, if you remember, I was a part of a live show on Return of the Jedi's 30th anniversary with like a RF Biker Scout and Sith Lord 229, and we actually talked about Return of the Jedi and our thoughts on it. And Return of the Jedi is not my favorite original trilogy movie. In fact, I'd say it's my least favorite original trilogy movie, but, you know, that's not really saying much because, you know, all three of them are great films. But for some reason, I just have the most, like, Star Wars figures and vehicles in my collection come from Return of the Jedi, and I don't know why. I guess they Return of the Jedi has just some of the coolest creatures and vehicles out there. So there's Jabba's Rancor from the Legacy Collection, Endor AT-AT from there was a Kmart exclusive in the Vintage Collection, a Power of the Jedi AT-AT, or not AT-AT, what am I saying, ATST. And then there's also an Ewok with a speeder bike in there, which I thought was a really good diorama piece. Or just a really good display piece in its packaging. That's why I got it originally. Carded, Vintage Collection, Imperial Guard. Target exclusive original trilogy collection, I believe it was. Imperial Shuttle. And then a Return of the Jedi collector's tin that came with a few figures. And before I go on to the final